In war-themed films, one sees the following scene: someone pulls the pin out of a grenade, but after a while puts it back in the fuse. Needless to say, cinema often embellishes reality. Here, too, a fair question arises: isn't the cinematography lying? Can a hand grenade without a pin really be disarmed in this way? Hand grenades have been around for centuries. It was only in the 20th century that this type of weapon began to develop most actively. However, it is important to realize that over many centuries grenades have come a long way in their technical evolution, from the simplest glass flasks filled with combustible fractions to modern grenades with complex chemical fuses. In order to answer today's question, it is necessary to understand in broad strokes what the fuse itself is. The fuse is one of the most important components of a modern hand grenade. As can be easily guessed from the name of this part, it is what makes the grenade explode. The main difference is in the way the grenade works. The most common types of grenades used in the army are dynamically fused grenades and delayed detonation grenades. Dynamic grenades explode on impact with the target. Delayed detonation grenades explode after a certain amount of time has elapsed since the fuse was detonated. Delayed detonation grenades are the most common around the world. The fuse design may vary from model to model. However, the basic and general logic is the same everywhere. At the very bottom of the fusing tube there is the fusing primer, which is the cause of the detonation by the igniter. The latter is triggered by the physical action of the striker, which in turn is moved by the movement of the spring. The spring, in turn, is moved by the movement of the trigger lever. The same lever that the fighter has to hold firmly by hand at the moment of pulling the check. The pin in this whole design acts as a safety that holds the trigger lever in place. If the pin is pulled and the lever is released, the firing pin is triggered, which in turn activates a chemical reaction. After that, there is a second countdown to the explosion. As you may have guessed, if the trigger lever is not released after pulling the pin, the firing pin remains in place and the chemical reaction will not be triggered. The grenade would be relatively safe, and all the fusing mechanisms would remain in place, as with the check inserted. This means exactly that the pin can still be put back in place if necessary. If the trigger lever is fixed firmly in place, the grenade becomes safe again. In other words, no cinema does not lie in this matter. At least when it comes to most modern hand grenades.